have you ever had to do this before? Hello and welcome to Thehayteamtv. Now, I bet you guys haven't had to do this before, but something that might help you in the future. But first, a bit of a rundown of our week. Ads has been sick most of this week, so there's not a lot of super amount of footage because I've been super busy trying to just get everything sorted. He's been ill. He just popped out to do some raking when we had to bail. The fields, weather has been absolute pain in the ass. I've spoken to a couple of you like around the country. Up in Scotland, you're not having a fun time. Down here, we're not having a fun time. In the middle, I'm pretty sure you're not having a fun time. It has been constantly wet. It has been not even wet, consistently where we all go, oh, we won't cut this week. We're just gonna leave it alone. I don't know what everyone else's weather forecast they've had, and we all like to bitch and moan about the weather forecast, so I'm just gonna go with it. But quite frankly, if they can't, get anything anywhere near, personally, I think they should be sacked, or pay us all a little bit of divvy, to sort us out, because they're absolutely messing up harvest 2023. What we've had going wrong is obviously we made a load of haylage last week, and then we left a bit to chance it for hay. We've managed to make the hay, as you can see. It's blurry. I've got a different setting on the camera at the moment. Hay's turned out all right. We've got some hiccups we've got to sort out in a minute. Fields, a biggest problem is when you're making hay, if the ground isn't dry, you end up still getting that moisture that comes off the ground into the grass above, and you can end up with a bit of moisture left in the bale as you're making the bale. Some little other problems we had, because it was so wet, the tractors and balers and stuff were digging in and picking up turf. So there's a couple bales that got turf, which as I go through them and bale them, that will get segregated and go cattle, go out the way, if that makes sense. The rest of this week we've been absolutely manic because, as I flip you around a second, as you can see in this shed, there is not a lot going on. That is a bit of stock that we got down the end. Filled this middle section up here with hay. We have got a bit of stock here. Oh, wolf. And we've got a little bit of stock there. But other than that, and that's due to the fact that we've been out in the field and couldn't do both, and been really trying to push because we required hay. Now, the hay, let's go talk about the hay. If I bring you guys in here, we didn't stack them up like 4 high or anything stupid like that, because there is a risk of that extra bit of moisture, which we were totally aware of. So we put them in 2 high. Now, this one isn't too bad right now, but it is warm. We did split some yesterday as I was rebaling them. There was a couple that were warmer than this one is today. But what I'm going to do, as well as running the factory and splitting some down. So basically, trick not everyone has is we can reprocess them and then leave them in this form, right, and then have them stacked up, and then just build a stack as fast as we're reprocessing. And now they're super cool in there, because that initial intense heat that is made in the bale, we've basically ripped up and let out, if that makes sense. So the intense heat has been able to escape rather than being stuck in these monster bales, because getting out of the little bale is easier. Also, what sort of helps is when we're breaking it, it goes down this long drop, and when they're really hot, we can basically watch steam come out the top. Now, we've done this for years, so anyone that wants to say it doesn't work, fine, you just tell me it doesn't work. But having that steam and that heat, be able to, just by using gravity and having hot hay falling through air, and heat rises, that makes sense, So it helps disperse a load of heat. The bales are still warm as they're coming through the system, but we are allowing the heat to get out faster, which what we've ended up finding in the past is the hay makes sooner. So we don't have to wait for that heating stage to cooling stage of big bales. We speed it up, so the small bales will be there for like 2-3 weeks, and they'll be cool and perfect, and they can start shipping out, if that makes sense. Not everyone can break bales down and split them up and have them breathing like we do over there. So another way is, which I was talking about a minute ago, well, I highlighted at the beginning of the video, is if we split them, so now we know they're sort of warming and they're warmer than we like. We've had all the probes in and they're coming out a bit too warm than we would really like. And the problem with the warming effect is, one, if it gets too warm, your barn will burn down, which is, you know, a negative. No one wants that to happen, do they? But by doing this, you've got two bales that can breathe, and they're breathing like chimneys. So if you imagine the inside of that core is warm, heat draws cool. Cool is always drawn from below, so we end up with a chimney effect. Air can get in, can get pulled in by the bale and release. Now, when we first sort of learnt this is when years ago we had bales stacked three bale high. It was about 10 years ago, and we had the bottom one on the pallet, and the top one, every single one of them was like a, I don't know if anyone found this, you have in towers, the top one will have like a, if it's not made perfectly fit, go grey and a bit, it can go a bit mildewy, or worse, if you've got a really bad one, the top goes black and goes a bit dungy, if you know what I mean, if you're with me. Some of you in the comments, let me know if you know how I'm going with this. We found through that is those top bales at that time had to get ditched, chucked away. From that, we learned that obviously the bales are drawing, if that makes sense, and being round bales and they're coiled that way, these sides don't breathe very well. They breathe better from bottom to top to bottom. So we found that drawing effect helps them cool, and by splitting them, we only need the heat to be dispersed from one bale rather than one bale into the second bale into the third bale. Because as I was saying about the black on the top of those third bales at the time, also the inside was like a really quite vibrant orange, like it was ready to go. But you could see basically the inside of the bale being cooked. The middle bale was not as bad, but the cooked-ish, and the bottom bale was all right. So that was a theory to what led us to this. So if you got loads of pallets, and as a farm, if you got lots of pallets, like sort of try and look after them. We have got a load of them that are outside. We've also got some that live inside. Not so many that live inside at the moment because the inside pallets are under this lot, right? But we've got a couple more inside pallets, and I'll get some outside pallets to split these. And this is one of the reasons we keep lots of pallets, is for occasions like this, because instead of just needing one pallet for usually what would be stacks of 3 and then tying bales in the middle, we now need a pallet per bale. So all of these are going to be getting split, and at the same time I'm going to be processing the factory. And yes, today I'm alone. And if you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe, give a thumbs up. That'd be most appreciated. And if you think this might help anyone, give it a share. Gonna get my dusty in here. thinking, or some of you old boys especially, Justin, why don't you just leave the bales out in the field like has been done a whole bunch of, for like years and years and years. They cool off just as easy. Well, yeah, but then we have that stain at the bottom of the bale, and sometimes if one's lying in somewhere real wet or anything like that, you get that layer that goes horrible. Then we have to pull all that off, and then if you get stuck in a wet time where the bale goes grey, I know grass on the inside can stay green, but we've kind of got to like rub all that off, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a waste. So we've had, for quality sort of concerns, had to figure out ways to sort of get it in so it all stays, and then whoever's working in the factory doesn't have to work hard by pulling stuff off the bale all the time. We can just get stuff through, if that makes sense. So in getting pallets, I got forklift stuck. So there's a forklift stuck. But remember the saying, if in doubt, push it out. Boom. I decided to make some space as well, so I went 3 high, because obviously pallet in between, there is gap so everything can breathe. They're all stacked up. I decided not to double handle these because they're going to go through the baler anyway. If you don't know what double handle means, you move things more than once, especially when you don't have to. This one was the warmest one of that lot, which now I think it's been uncovered a good half hour, and it's cooled down dramatically. Open the back door, so we've got a nice breeze coming through, taking any heat away, and also helps get some air in between all the bales. It still will be warm in the centre of the bale, if anyone's thinking, because that is very dense, and there is a long way for heat to travel here to get out. And if you imagine the top bales that are on, they've all been perfectly fine. Top bale, for instance, would be over here, one of the ones I've moved. And it's just like it's warmer than it is air temperature, but it's not hot. The bottom bales are, if you think about it, that heat is trying to escape upwards. So it's trying to push the heat out, but it's been pushing heat into another bale. So then it's got to disperse through this one as well. So the bottom of this one now will, cool itself out, and those heat will be escaping absolutely lovely. Fingers crossed. If this doesn't work, there'll be another fire video. Hopefully, fingers crossed that to happen, because no one wants to see that. Anyway, that is the end of this video. I am off on a different job. Another load to leave. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. See you in the next one. I'm going to start putting vids out on Sundays, because I just can't get to doing like Fridays. Just can't physically do everything at the moment. So I'm going to put them out on Sundays. It just makes it a bit easier for me, because I've got the weekend to sort of, edit and get that done. But again, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next one. Hope this helps some of you out there if you're having troubles with stuff at the moment. I'm sure there's loads of you who've got different ways of getting heat out of bales and how to get hay made without having to, because the worst case scenario is like and especially the price of rat, you don't want to do it, but it starts heating up, you've got to wrap it. But hopefully this has worked for us in the past a bunch of times, and if it works for any of you, that'd be awesome. If you're thinking whether this, splitting them like that is going to work on squares, I can't help you on that one, because I don't know for sure, but I can't see why it wouldn't if you started splitting squares and putting pallets in between that as well. Okay, but that's, again, because I haven't done it, I can't say 100% going to work, but it should work, because it should still be the same theory. Okay, thank you for watching. Cheers.